Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary. This is my Saturday video. I'm trying to do one a week, just like I do with the blog. And today I want to show you two things that are really cool, both of which have to do with leather, wood, and steel. So that one is pretty obvious. This one is a little different. I don't know if I've ever actually had this on the channel or if I've ever done a review, but this is a small forest axe. Or this is it is the game, I believe it's the game hatchet from Gransfors Bruk. But both of these are some of my very favorite objects to own and use, and I'll talk about why in a second. But this is the first generation Mnandi, so it has a nailed nick instead of a cutout, but this nick is the edge is sharp enough so that you can grab it and open it. That's a much nicer setup than what you'd find elsewhere. The other two are just not my favorites. So let's talk a little bit about, let me show you this one and then we'll go into why I like each one of these objects. By the way, I'm still unpacking and this is actually just a folding table. So there's the edge. I mean, you can see I've done a lot to keep this edge really nice and sharp, and it is insanely sharp. Let's see if I can get it to... You can see there, it is hair popping sharp. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why I like both of these objects and why they're very similar. So one thing is, I think that wood makes an excellent material for handles, especially if you're doing it on a folder where you've sort of burnished and sealed it to the point where there's no pores or anything like that. It looks very nice. It's obviously completely random because it's wood, and it just has a natural sort of appeal. Like there's a reason why we make furniture out of wood and all kinds of beautiful boats out of wood and houses out of wood. It's strong enough to use and last, but soft enough to shape easily. And it gives this knife just a really classy feel. I like it significantly better than something like Mokutai. I like it significantly better than something like carbon fiber. It's just a different sort of beast. And I even like it, especially when it's done this nicely, better than something like micarta, which is among my favorite materials. But that natural beauty is one of the reasons why I think it works so well in small folders. But in a knife or in a cutting tool like this, you're actually leaving it pretty rough. I mean, this is like glass smooth, and this is like 220 grit smooth. So there's some real texture here, and you can see the way that they've chosen to do the line or the grain. You basically have got a full run of grain here. There's no cross grain, which means this handle is super duper strong. I've used this for probably close to 6 years now, so 6 or 7 years, and I've never had any loosening. The eye is still nice and well shaped. There's no gapping around the eye. Of course, do not hammer this because this is not a hammer. This is an axe, or a hatchet more precisely. And I feel like, again, this is a great choice in handle material. I have a bunch of synthetic handled splitters and choppers and axes and hatchets, and they're fine and they're really super durable, but they do not have the same grip that this does. They also don't look as nice. And you don't really care on a hatchet, but if you're gonna buy a hatchet and it works, plus it looks nice, that's not a bad thing. I really like the contrast between the sort of the rough forged here and then the polished edge. And as you can see, it doesn't come this way. So normally you get the sort of forged surface here, and then you get sort of a typical satin finish here. I've sharpened this and used this enough that I've gotten it to a kind of a almost mirror edge, and it is just freaking ridiculously sharp. In fact, I think this might actually be sharper than, let me see. Let's see if we can do it. Oh, no. They're both pretty sharp. That one's got some hairs on it. So, yeah, they're both pretty sharp. But this combination of steel and wood is great But I think the thing that takes it over the top is this. I love, love, love this little slipcase that the Chris Reeve comes in. And I pretty much always carry the Mnandi in its slipcase. It's just super duper nice. And this is Feller. I think it's a Feller product. And it is gorgeous. And this is the holster that the axe comes in. And while it has loosened up pretty considerably over time, I used to really have to struggle to get this button on, but now I can, pretty easily snap it in. But it's still, tight enough that I can carry this without having to worry about it. You can tuck it into your belt, and it just really works. And again, this picks up some of the nicer wear patterns and wear marks. As you can see, this one's been carried a lot. The edge on that is nowhere near as beautiful as the edge on this one. I mean, the edge work here on this leather is really quite nice. And the stitching is nice. It's not as nice as the stuff that, some of the high-end wallet makers like my friend Andrew Jean, who runs Sunny Straps. It's not quite that nice, but it's pretty close. This, this has that sort of rugged, like, look how uneven these are. It's like, well, I'll put one there and there and there and right there. And then this one's really close. But overall, I really like the look and feel of the wood, the steel, and the leather. You're not going to find a nicer combination than that. You can get all your fancy materials you want. You can get the mokutai and the abalone and whatever. But for me, some nice, clear, light grain wood, some really beautiful steel, and some leather that shows wear is a great combination. So, leather, steel, and wood. You won't find much better, and it's been around for thousands of years, and it still works. So that's it for this week's Sweet Stuff Saturday.